Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are really glad you are here with us today. We have a topic that sits right at the heart of English grammar. It's something that comes up constantly in formal writing, in professional communication, in academic work, and in everyday conversation. And once you understand the difference, your English is going to feel so much more precise and controlled.
That is right. Today we are talking about to be and to have been. Both of these are infinitive forms of the verb be, but they belong to different tenses. They carry different time meanings, and they are used in completely different situations. Mixing them up changes the time reference of your sentence and can make their meaning unclear or grammatically wrong.
We're going to cover what each form is, what time meaning each one carries, how they are used in modal verb structures, how they appear in passive sentences, how they work in reported speech, how they function after adjectives and nouns, common mistakes, two conversations, and a quiz. Let's get started.
Let us begin with to be. To be is the present or future infinitive form of be. When you use to be in a sentence, it refers to a present state, a future state, or a general truth. It does not look backwards in time. It looks at the current moment or forward.
She appears to be happy. That sentence means she appears happy right now. The state of being happy is in the present. He seems to be a very talented person. Again, the state is current. This is believed to be one of the most important decisions in the company's history. The belief is current, the decision is current. To be describes a state that exists now or will exist.
To be is also used with modal verbs like must, should, might, could, may, and will to talk about present possibilities, expectations, obligations, or future plans. He must be at the office by now. That's a present guess or deduction. She should be home in about an hour. That's a future expectation. They might be interested in the proposal, a present or near future possibility. It could be more complicated than we think, a current possibility.
Now let's talk about to have been. To have been is the perfect infinitive of be. When you use to have been in a sentence, it refers to a past state or past action. It looks backwards in time. It describes something that was the case, that happened, or that was true in the past. The situation is no longer necessarily current.
She appears to have been very happy in those photographs. That sentence means, looking at the photographs now, we can see that she was happy then, in the past. The happiness was in the past. He seems to have been a very talented person in his early career. The talent may still be present, but the sentence is talking about a past period. This is believed to have been one of the most important decisions in the company's history. The decision is in the past. The belief, looking back at it, is current.
To have been is also used with modal verbs to talk about past possibilities, missed expectations, obligations that were not met, past deductions, and past regrets. He must have been at the office when we called. That's a past deduction. We think he was there then. She should have been home an hour ago. That's a past expectation that was not met. She was supposed to be home, but she wasn't. They might have been interested, but we'll never know now. A past possibility that is now uncertain. He could have been more careful, a past possibility often with regret.
So, the core difference in one clear statement, to be refers to a present or future state or possibility. To have been refers to a past state or past possibility. The time direction is everything.
Now, let's look at how this distinction works in modal verb sentences in more detail, because this is where the difference really matters most in everyday English.
With must, he must be tired. Present deduction. I think he's tired right now. He must have been tired. Past deduction. I think he was tired at that time in the past.
With should, she should be here by 3. Future expectation. We expect her to arrive. She should have been here by 3. Past unmet expectation. We expected her, but she didn't come.
With might, they might be interested. Present or future possibility. They might have been interested. Past possibility. Perhaps they were interested then.
With could, it could be a problem. Present or future possibility. It could have been a problem. Past possibility. Perhaps it was a problem then.
With would, it would be wonderful to see you again. Present or future wish. It would have been wonderful to see you. Past unachieved wish. It didn't happen and now we can only imagine.
With may, she may be right. present possibility. She may have been right. Past possibility. Perhaps she was right then. Now let's look at how these forms appear in passive sentences and after adjectives. The infinite passive with to be plus past participle refers to future or present actions. The report is expected to be completed by Friday. The winner is due to be announced tomorrow. The agreement needs to be signed before the meeting.
The perfect infinitive passive with to have been plus past participle refers to past actions seen from now. The report is believed to have been completed last month. The agreement appears to have been signed without proper authorization. The patient is thought to have been treated with the wrong medication. After adjectives, the same time rule applies. I am pleased to be part of this team means current pleasure. I was pleased to have been selected means I look back at a past selection with pleasure. It is wonderful to have been given this opportunity means the opportunity came in the past and I reflect on it now.
Now let's go through the mistakes because this is where real accuracy is built.
Mistake number 1, using to be when describing a past state or past action. A learner might write, "She appears to be happy in those old photographs," but the happiness in the photographs was in the past. The correct sentence is, "She appears to have been happy in those old photographs." To have been looks back at a past state. To be would suggest she appears happy right now, not that she was happy then.
Mistake number 2, using to have been when describing a current state or future state. A learner might write, "He seems to have been very talented at his job," when they mean right now, currently. To have been pushes the meaning into the past. If the talent is current, the correct sentence is, "He seems to be very talented at his job."
Mistake number 3, using to be after a modal verb when a past meaning is needed. A learner might write, "She should be here an hour ago." This is wrong because an hour ago is past time. The correct sentence is, "She should have been here an hour ago." Modal plus be is for present or future. Modal plus have been is for past.
Mistake number 4, using to have been after a modal verb when a present meaning is needed. A learner might write, "He must have been tired right now." This mixes a past form with a present time reference and sounds wrong. If you are deducing about the present moment, use must be. He must be tired right now.
Mistake number 5, confusing to have been with other perfect infinitive forms. Some learners understand to have been, but then apply the same pattern incorrectly to other verbs. The perfect infinitive of go is to have gone, not to have been going in all contexts. Each verb has its own perfect infinitive, and they all follow the same logical pattern of present infinitive for now and perfect infinitive for past.
Mistake number 6, avoiding to have been altogether because it sounds formal. Some learners only use to be in all situations because to have been sounds complicated. But this leads to constant grammatical inaccuracy when describing past states with modal verbs or in passive constructions. To have been is not overly formal. It appears in everyday conversation. He seems to have been a good man. She appears to have been quite ill last week. These are natural and common sentences.
6 mistakes and 6 clear corrections. These are the distinctions that separate good English from excellent English.
Now let us hear 2 conversations so you can see to be and to have been working naturally together.
First conversation. 2 colleagues discussing a job candidate.
What did you think of the candidate we interviewed this morning?
She seemed to be very confident and well prepared. Her answers were clear and she asked thoughtful questions.
I agree. And from what she described, she appears to have been very successful in her previous role. Her team apparently grew significantly under her management.
That is impressive. She also mentioned that there were challenges in her last company. Things seemed to have been quite difficult there towards the end.
Yes, but she handled that well in the interview. She seems to be someone who grows under pressure. I would say she must be a strong fit for what we need.
The only concern is salary. She might be expecting more than we can offer, but having looked at her background, she could have been earning significantly more elsewhere.
True, she seems to have been underpaid where she was. I think we can make a strong offer. She appears to be genuinely excited about this role, which matters.
Did you notice? Seemed to be very confident means the confidence was observed in the present moment during the interview. Appears to have been very successful looks back at her past role. Things seem to have been difficult looks back at past circumstances at her previous company. Seems to be someone who grows is a current character observation. Must be a strong fit is a present deduction. Might be expecting is a present or future possibility. Could have been earning more is a past possibility looking back.
Second conversation. Two students discussing a history essay.
I have been reading about the ancient trading routes for my essay. This appears to be one of the most complex areas of ancient history.
I agree. From what historians have found, these routes seem to have been even more extensive than previously thought. New evidence keeps changing the picture.
That is fascinating. The people involved must have been extraordinarily resilient to travel those distances with the technology of the time.
Absolutely. The civilizations along the routes appear to have been highly sophisticated and interconnected. It cannot have been easy to maintain those relationships across such distances.
The evidence also suggests that the exchange was not just commercial. It seems to have been cultural, too. Languages, religions, and ideas must have been spreading along with the goods.
Right. This is believed to be a topic that will continue to yield new discoveries as archaeologists dig further. And based on current research, it seems to be more important to understanding ancient civilization than we once realized.
That conversation showed a clear mix. Appears to be one of the most complex is a current assessment. Seem to have been even more extensive looks back at a past reality. Must have been extraordinarily resilient is a past deduction about historical people. Appear to have been highly sophisticated looks back at a past civilization. Cannot have been easy is a logical deduction about the past. Seems to have been cultural looks back at the nature of past exchanges. Believed to be important is a current belief. Seems to be more important is a current reassessment.
Now let's quiz you. 5 sentences, correct or incorrect. Take a moment before each answer.
Sentence 1. He must be very tired yesterday after the long flight.
Take a moment. This is incorrect. Yesterday is past time. For a past deduction, you need must have been. The correct sentence is, he must have been very tired yesterday after the long flight.
Sentence 2. She seems to have been very popular with her students when she taught here.
This is correct. The teaching was in the past. Looking back at that past time from now, she seems to have been popular. To have been is correct for this past state.
Sentence 3. The results are expected to have been announced tomorrow.
This is incorrect. Tomorrow is future time. For a future expectation, you need to be, not to have been. The correct sentence is, the results are expected to be announced tomorrow.
Sentence 4. It would have been wonderful to travel with you. What a shame we missed that chance.
This is correct. The travel did not happen and we're looking back at a past missed opportunity with regret. Would have been is the correct form here.
Sentence 5. She appears to be quite successful in her early career based on these reports from that time.
This is incorrect. The early career is in the past. These reports from that time also places it in the past. The correct sentence is, she appears to have been quite successful in her early career based on those reports from that time.
How did you do? If you got all 5 right, you have genuinely understood the time distinction. If you missed some, go back to the core rule. To be looks at the present or future. To have been looks at the past.
Let us finish with a clear summary. To be is the present or future infinitive. It describes a current state, a future state, a present possibility, or a future expectation. He seems to be talented. She must be home. This is expected to be decided soon.
To have been is the perfect infinitive. It describes a past state, a past possibility, a past deduction, or a past expectation that was or was not met. He seems to have been talented in his youth. She must have been home when we called. This is believed to have been decided years ago.
With modal verbs, the rule is clean and consistent. Modal plus be for present and future, modal plus have been for past, must be, should be, might be, could be for now and the future, must have been, should have been, might have been, could have been for the past.
The one question every time, are you talking about now and the future, or are you talking about the past? Now and future means to be, past means to have been.
And that's everything for today. We hope this episode gave you total clarity and real confidence with to be and to have been. These structures appear in everything from casual conversation to formal writing, and once you control them, your English becomes significantly more precise and expressive.
Your practice task: write 4 sentences, one using must be for a present deduction, one using must have been for a past deduction, one using to be in a passive infinitive for a future action, and one using to have been in a passive infinitive for a past action. That covers every key pattern from today.
Leave your questions in the comments. We love hearing from our listeners, and we always do our best to answer.
Share this episode with someone who is learning English. These structures make a real difference to the quality of English writing and speaking.
Take care of yourself and keep practicing. The more you notice these structures in the things you read and hear, the more natural they will feel.
We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye and keep going. You're doing so well.